So here's one that I found kind of interesting, and I swear, like I find this stuff like every day. Like I'm not, like you see here, January 20th, right? Like I'm not like generally going out of my way to find most of this stuff. I just find it. So Superman comic draws criticism. So this is an interesting story to me. Some quick context to what's going on here is Walmart and now Target even is getting these are these giant size books. I got a picture of the one we're going to talk about right here. 100-page comic giant Superman, right? So these are 100 pages, really big, and they're only $5. Target's getting these. Walmart's gotten a whole bunch, actually. They've gotten like Teen Titans, Justice League, Superman, Batman, and so what they really are is they're like backstories, right? I think they've been going through Rebirth. I've never bought one, but I think I am going to try to find this one. I got to go return something to Walmart tomorrow, so I'm going to go there and I'm going to see if I can find this. And if I can, I will do a video on it. I can't find very much digitally of it. I've looked around. I found one picture, which I'll show what some of the outrage is on. But the real hook on these is they'll insert an exclusive story. So like in this one, Tom King does a story. It's about 12 pages. And then the rest of the pages in the book are older issues, right? And I think they're effectively retelling Rebirth and up, or the New 52 up to Rebirth. I'm not sure exactly because I haven't been buying these. Though I think that these are a good thing. This is a way to get comics into retail stores to just get people buying them and interested in them. And they're in a good price, $5, 100 pages. That's about what you should be getting, right? That's pretty good. That's about manga levels, which are 141, 121 for $10. So anyway, let's go ahead and get what's going on here. The Superman comic draws criticisms of showing torture and murder scenes of Lois Lane. So I'm going to go through this. I don't know how I feel about this one. I got a couple things. Let me just give you kind of the rundown here, and then I'll show you something. So the latest Walmart exclusive 100-page giant comic book, Superman Giant number 7, is stirring quite a bit of buzz on the internet, but not with excitement for the Tom King pen story. Instead, it's the repeated torture and murder of Lois Lane across the issue's pages that had fans in an uproar. The issue, which officially went on sale in select Walmart stores today, sees King paired up with artist Andy Kubert on a Superman story that sees the Man of Steel languishing in an intergalactic waiting room. While there, his mind begins to wander to some dark places, presumably out of anxiety. How dark are those places? It seems that the issue contains 12 pages of Lois Lane's brutal and graphic murder over and over again, including an opening splash page that sees Lois gruesomely shot by Lex Luthor. And that's the image that I can actually show you that I have. The idea of violence in comic books itself isn't what's an issue here. Though for most of those speaking out on Twitter, the issue lies, oh yes, Twitter. This outrage is always on Twitter. The issue lies in two specific places: the intended audience for the book and the fact that it's a female character, imagined extreme suffering being used to further the pain of the male character. And if you don't know what that is, that's a variation of the woman in the refrigerator trope, which is so stupid because that's so dumb that like just because a male hero uses a female character to further the plot. I mean, there's plenty of female-led stories where something happens to the male as well. So I think that that's such a trope. It's not anybody's fault that people prefer the male stories, and that's why they get popular. But that's a problem in itself to these people. You know what I'm saying? So, continuing on here. So, as many online have noted, the Walmart exclusive books are intended as entry-level books, and that's a point that I'm going to get to, for readers, many of which are children. And that's also a hypocritical point that I want to talk about. The books are merchandised in much of the stores that carry them alongside child-friendly games such as Pokemon cards, and many of the reactions on Twitter are coming from parents who don't feel they can share the issue with their kids. One reader even referred to the issue as a 12-page Lois Lane snuff comic, something they do not want their child to see. As for the concern as to it being Lois who's tortured and murdered repeatedly, others felt like it was an appropriate way to work through whatever issue King is trying to explore, as there are other ways to do it. At a minimum, it's better left something other than a child-accessible exclusive comic. His criticisms of Superman Giant number 7 aren't the first that have come up for King's works in recent months. His work on Heroes in Crisis has also drawn a bit of a backlash from readers, which I've done a video on. And to an extent, for similar reason, the series, which was billed as an exploration of mental health. An unfinished cover for Heroes in Crisis number 7 was also leaked, which I also did a video on. As for Superman Giant number 7, there have been some fans calling for the issue to be pulled from the shelves due to the disturbing Lois content. Read on for some of the criticism for this issue. So I'm going to go through these tweets in a second. And also, I'm also going to go and definitely try to find this Giant number 7, because I guarantee you they're going to pull it soon. So I would also advise anybody to try to find it, because this one will probably be worth a couple of bucks. So there's a couple things, and I'm going to read that verbatim really quick so I can just go over my points. So sorry if that was just dry and fast. I just wanted to get through it so you could get some context. So there's a couple of things in here. So here's the actual, this is the only one I could find, and I don't want to show the whole thing because it's graphic and YouTube's weird. So down here is Lex Luthor, right? And let me see, Lois Lane, beg. He's coming, Luthor, right now, faster than a speeding bullet. And when he comes on, you poor thing. And then he says, you moronic, imbecile, irrelevant woman, he's gone. If you want one more breath on this earth, beg. She says, no. And then he kills her and then acts insane. You see, you should have begged. I asked. And then you actually see a pretty dead Lois at the end of the picture panel there. And you don't really see the hole in her head. Now, I guess there's 11 more pages of this, of her dying in a different way. And then you go over here on this Twitter, you'll actually see here's the waiting room that he's in. So I'm not sure the context. I could not find scans of this. I've tried. I looked for an hour. So we're just going by what they're saying. A really long story short is people are outraged over something they haven't even read in most cases. Now here's some hypocritical criticism that I have for these people. Number one, real quick, I understand some of the points here that people are mad about. I think an all-access, all-entry-level book probably shouldn't be 12 pages about Lois Lane being tortured and killed and stuff. I think that that's probably not the coolest idea. However, I think it's hypocritical that these people are saying that when kids regularly play games like Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, Gears of War, Fortnite to an extent, involving shooting and all that stuff, right? These are all violent games to an extent, and they don't have a problem there. Why is it a problem now? And that's kind of the whole takeaway. There's two takeaways I got. Hypocritical stuff like that, because these parents going to lie and tell me their kids don't play those games? I don't think so. Those video games are the most popular format of all media right now. So I highly doubt that their kids aren't at least playing Fortnite, which is still pretty violent. You're still doing the same thing over and over again in that game, taking people out. So I have a little bit of an issue with that. I think it's kind of hypocritical. So I get the point that it's an all-access entry-level book, right? But for these people to be outraged about this and not that, I find that very hypocritical, right? And then Tom King, man, this guy, is he doing this on purpose at this point to just get his name out there? Because this is the third controversy, the fourth if you count the Bat Wedding with Catwoman, right? That's what had fans mad. And then 2 issues of Hero in Crisis, one because of Poison Ivy, and then the second one because of Batgirl. Because Batgirl stood up, turned around, showed her exit wound, but you also got to see the outline of her butt. So that made people upset, of course, right? Tom King, I think you're doing this for attention sometimes, or you're just you just don't seem to realize what kind of market you're in. But I really don't see much of a difference between this and the video games that these people let their kids play. I think maybe at the end of the day, they want to use the video games as like a babysitter. And the difference between this and that is this: they can come up, show it to the parents, and they have to actually talk to them and explain something. And maybe that's the problem, isn't it? So anyway, like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment, let me know what you're thinking about this. Also, check out my Stream Me, Twitch, Patreon, and I'll see you guys on the next one.